Hello and welcome from my little writing space here in Vienna. My name is Louise. It is the 29th of February, and even though we had one more day of February this year, it felt so short, and it always does. And I wanted to do this little writing vlog. I had a lot of stuff in mind that I wanted to do this month. And as life goes, I didn't manage to do those things. And at the beginning, I felt like, oh, that was so unsuccessful. I didn't manage to work on my novel. I didn't start that short story that I had in mind. But then I kind of reflected and I realized it was successful in the sense that I did take the time to sit down, even though I wasn't super inspired and even though it was just very short moments, but I still sat down and tried to work on my stuff. And I feel like with creative working, there are phases and, daily life just creeps in and you can't always take the time to sit down and work, because I also have an essay that I have to finish, but I actually had holidays the whole February. But when you're at university, there's always something to do, even though when you don't have classes. So I focused more on my university work, which was good and also needed a lot of attention and to sit down and read a lot of books and secondary literature. So I took a lot of time for that, which was necessary and important. But I didn't accomplish what I was planning to do. But for anyone who saw my last writing vlog, I was planning on going to the library for so many months now, and I finally did. So that was a success. And I also went to a little cafe to write. So I would say it was successful in the sense that I really, really planned on going outside to write, or at least work. And I managed to do that because I feel like sometimes it's just so easy to be in my four walls all the time and not go outside. And I really needed a change of scenery. And that happened, and it was very nice. The University of Vienna has some beautiful libraries, and I managed to go to the big reading room, and I felt quite good in there, so hopefully I can make it again. And enjoy my little writing vlog as I mostly sat down and brainstormed, which is also important. The University of Vienna is already over 650 years old. It was founded in 1365, and it is the oldest persisting university in the German-speaking area. And you really get that feeling when you walk through the halls and into the different lecture halls. It is quite magical, actually, and I've really loved to study there. Especially in the old buildings. There are obviously also a lot of new buildings, but the main building where I have lots of courses is quite old and very beautiful. Since I moved to Vienna 7 years ago from the small town I grew up in, near Salzburg, I've always struggled with the contrast of urbanity and nature. The thing is, the closest park that I have is the castle Schönbrunn, and it's a park, and it's not, you can't compare it with, the woods or the mountains, and it is not the nature that I'm craving, but it is something that I can include into my daily life. It is very close by, so I like to take my little walks there, and it is very inspiring. I like to just walk around, sometimes with friends, sometimes just alone, and with every step, I just get into a flow and let the little stories in my head grow. And then I did a little hike when I was at home, at my parents' place and the place where I grew up. So that's a bit of a different surrounding and a lot more nature. I really hope to find some ways to not only find the time to set my mind to writing, because I do that a lot. I think a lot about writing and all the ideas that I have, and I should sit down and write. And sometimes I do sit down and then I just don't have enough time to really sit down and do the writing, or I realize I haven't done any research. And the project that I'm working on at the moment, my novel that I started during National Novel Writing Month last November, it requires a lot of research and I haven't done that. So I don't want to plan ahead too much because my next semester is starting and I will probably not have too much time. But my goals are to keep going outside to cafes and libraries and find a way to do my research for the novel. I always feel a little guilty when I'm doing research for projects that have nothing to do with university, but it is also important. And I would love to hear what you do to get into a creative mood, because for me, I haven't really found my routine or things that get me out of like writing block, or the feeling of my stories aren't worth writing them down. I do have that sometimes, and then I just push them aside. So what are your ways to sit down, get your head clear, and finally write your stories? I would love to hear about that. And now it is time to finish my tea, and I hope you have a beautiful start into the next month, March, and all the best from Vienna. Probably a bit more than at the moment, where I have a lot of. Oh, I just spilled my tea. Whoops. And this is my February writing vlog. Okay, let's start again.